I'm Georgia Raisman. I'm here on Front Up today with SarahBoise, who is the Research and Education Director at the Linda Loring Nature Foundation. And I'm so happy to talk with you because I haven't caught up in a long time with what's happening at Linda Loring. So I'd like you to tell me, first off, because a lot of people might not know about Linda Loring or the foundation or the property. So if you don't mind, start from the beginning. Who is Linda Loring and how did all this start happening?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me in. And as we were saying, we haven't seen each other in real life in a while, so.
That's nice to catch up.
So the Linda Loring Nature Foundation became operational in 2007. So as far as the conservation organizations on the island go, we're sort of relatively new on the scene. We have 110 acres at Eel Point Road. And it really started with Linda Loring's vision. So Linda is our founder, and she had this vision early on of setting aside property in the west on the west end of the island. So she started buying parcels and kind of piecing them together many years before the foundation became operational. And so what really happened was around 2007, they had a board, they hired an executive director, and Vern Locks, our senior naturalist at the time, and started with 85 acres. And since then, since 2007, we built up the property to 110 acres with a donation from the Nature Conservancy. But we've also really built the programming, the research, and all the different activities that we do there.
So is Linda herself a naturalist, or what brought her to decide that this was something she was going to develop and fund and expand?
You know, I think kind of in the same vein as like Grace Grossman and founders of the Conservation Foundation, it was really seeing the development happening early on. It's kind of funny when we think of the development, it's a very different scale these days, but I think Linda and others saw that there was more and more of the land was being developed, and she just fell in love with the place. Her initial motives were mainly about education, especially children. So that's why we do a lot with education at all levels now. So we do a lot with kids year round, and but it's really a focus on science education and connecting people with nature in lots of different ways, and using the property as a touch point for that.
So I noticed on your website that you bring projects to children in schools and you bring children out. So tell me about some of the projects.
Right. So, our summer season is waning right now. So we've had a lot of different classes. We call them classes because we do these programs throughout the summer with lots of different science and nature-based programming. Those are all based at the property.
Do they come every day? Is it like a camp, or are
it's
they
less like a
sporadic,
camp.
or?
It's kind of sporadic. So we have Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays for different age groups, and it's just in the morning. And it really suits people who maybe are on vacation or here for the summer or not in need of a child care full time. And so it's a very focused and directed kind of nature experience in the summertime. And then as we get towards, the school season is upon us, start thinking about the first day of school soon. And we do field trips with many of the different grades, both in the public school and in some of the private schools. We do field trips for the whole entire kindergarten community. So that's multiple days with lots of kids and teachers coming through. And then we have more targeted school programs where we'll, I say we, 'cause it's myself and Seth Engelborg, who's our naturalist educator and program manager, and he does a lot of the in-class work as well. And so we'll go, different grades might need help with curriculum development for different STEM fields. Seth does some great engineering programs as well, and we're developing a new after-school program in partnership with the Nantucket Community School this year. So we kind of look at the different school systems, or the school system in general, the public schools, the private schools, the home daycares, so to get at that younger age group. And then we look at our programming and we identify, where are we missing? Where are we not kind of reaching out to different grade levels? And so we try to have, whether it's after school programs, in-school programs, or some of those field trips I mentioned where we bring students out to the property, kind of trying to kind of have a broad portfolio for all the different education programs we do.
So if you bring kindergartners to the field itself,
Yeah.
what are you showing them? I guess it depends
Right.
on the time of year. Or
Well, we do it, and we've actually started doing it a few years ago. We started, and they generally come in the fall, so not right when school starts, but within the first, late September, October. And so at that age level, we're just getting them to look at what's different, getting them to really observe nature. And so we have a few things that we always highlight, things that I know won't move, so we can excite them. But a lot of it is exploring and not knowing what we're going to see. We don't know if there's going to be a praying mantis on the side of the trail. That's going to be really exciting, or if we're going to see the osprey fly by before they start to migrate. So it's kind of opportunistic, and I think that we try to show our enthusiasm for nature to kind of translate that to the kids.
And how large is the average group of kids that come? How large are the classes?
Let's see. I think kindergarten classes right now are anywhere between 17 and 20 is the maximum, and so in the past we've done 2 or 3 classes a day, and when we have our field trip program, and so they have their teachers and teaching assistants and chaperones as well. So there's lots of adults. But then we do it in a rotating fashion. So I'll take half the group on a classic nature walk where we're exploring on the trail. And then Seth will be on our deck at the Linda Loring Nature Foundation with some hands-on things where we have our microscopes. You can look up close at snake skins. You can touch and feel antlers and other things that where it's okay to just get your hands in there too.
And then as the children get older, the programs get more sophisticated.
Right.
I saw he had a sort of an engineering project that looked fascinating to me, an after-school program.
Yeah, so last year we've done a few different after-school programs in conjunction with the community school, because they're a great resource for us and they do a lot of great after-school programs. So we did Nature Makerspace was one that combined nature and engineering. We did an engineering program last year that I can't remember our catchy title to. And then this year, we're fortunate to have been the recipient of one of the Golf Club Foundation grants where Seth's developing a robotics program as an after-school program too. And so while we are really nature focused, we're really expanding some of that into the other STEM fields as well.
Those programs are smaller numbers of kids, or about the same
right,
number?
So they're smaller number of kids, and I don't know that we've put a cap yet on what the limit will be for the robotics class, but kind of keep an eye out for that. But it's usually a smaller class, more one-on-one, and we find that the after-school program is a great way to connect with kids on particular subjects and make it fun too. And then, some of the other programs that we're doing in schools are really about, instead of us developing a program and going to the teachers, it's finding out what resources the teachers need. Some are already great and feel really comfortable with science and different STEM fields, and some would love some curriculum support. So we've been in talks with different age groups. And so we developed, last year we did our first second grade program where we learned about native habitats that are all part of the Massachusetts state standards, what is taught in each different grade. We did a big lesson on, like I said, habitats, and then along with Emily Molden from the Nantucket Land Council, she and I did a big field trip out at the UMass Field Station. So, we have a great property, but we also like to expose our local kids to their own backyard, and so we try to also, have all these different community partnerships where we can, we can reach all the kids in different ways in different habitats, and yeah.
And I have been to one of the science pub events, so tell me about the outreach to adults.
Right, so as I said, we kind of try to span the age group for our nature-based learning and our environmental literacy. And so our science pub is a winter speaker series where we partner with a local bar or restaurant, and we have a science speaker, whether a lot of times they're local speakers, but sometimes we get some off-island speakers talking about research that's either on Nantucket or pertinent to Nantucket issues. And it's a great way to have, for the local scientists to talk about research that might be in progress. It might not be something that's done and there's a research paper out of it. but it's also a really informal event. So we hope to get people that are interested in lots of different topics and to come out, have a beer, make it very casual, and then ask as many questions as they want to. So I can't remember which talk that you've come to. I know you've come to a few.
Moths are what stick with
Yeah.
me.
So we've had things on, like the town has presented on water quality data. We've had people from the Conservation Foundation talking about restoration at Medowie Creek or the BAT project. We've talked about our own research at Linda Loring with drone surveys for ecological purposes and climate change research that I've done.
And they're pretty well attended, and it's not just because it's winter and quiet.
Yeah.
They're actually interesting.
And I really love that it's a diverse slice of the community. It's not what we say, like we have lots of different programs, and it's not like our regular attendees. It's people that are maybe interested in that one particular topic, or because we do it on a funny night like Monday. There's nothing really going on Monday, and it's kind of something to do. But it helps us kind of reach a broader audience. And we, last year we had it at Island Kitchen. The year before we had it at the Culinary Center. The year before that we've had it at Atlas and at the Rose and Crown. So we've every year we've been at a different venue, and it's been fun for us to do that and showcase all that we do. And there's usually food available, and it's been fun. So stay tuned for what our winter 2018-19 will be. We're kind of up in the air with that still.
Good. But the last thing I would like to ask you about a little bit quickly is citizen science. What does that mean for you?
So citizen science is the term that's used for a variety of different things. Sometimes it's called community science or public participation in research, but it's basically a way for non-professional scientists to be involved in science and data collection. And it can be, for me, I think of it as there's multi-levels. So you could be a citizen scientist and making observations about where an invasive plant is or where a rare species is. And there's lots of programs for that. And so there's, those kind of one observation and you're done. And then there's, huge projects like a lot of people on Nantucket are part of eBird, which is the Cornell Lab of Ornithology's big citizen science program, where any birder who makes observations can enter what they see into eBird. And those data have been used.
eBird, I love that.
I know,
That's
eBird.
wonderful.
And you think about, if a researcher was going out to look at all the populations of all the birds found in North America, I mean, that's a lifetime of work, many lifetimes of work. But if you get many people who are just going out and passively observing or actively observing, there are many, many hundreds of thousands, I think over millions of data points at this point. And I can't remember. eBird has some of the largest data sets for any citizen science program. So there's big global and national programs that people can be involved in like that. And like your observation of an osprey is one data point, but it serves a larger purpose. But then there's smaller ways to be involved or more localized ways to be involved. Like we do a lot, where we encourage people and volunteers to come and help collect data with us.
Good.
So there's lots of different ways to be involved.
Good. Well, I encourage people to go look at the llnf.org and find out ways to be involved, especially if you enjoy science.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. It was wonderful for you to come. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Georgia.
Look forward to seeing you again.
Thank
Sarah.
you so
Thanks.
much.